morning, folks. So I thought I would get on today and chat with y'all a little bit. Well, I'm having some, revelations and thoughts of my own about van life, nomads, and I know we like to think that we all respect each other and support one another, but it's not always the case. And let me tell you what I'm learning. This Possum Fun and Frugal, Gretchen. I am thinking that not everybody, it's much like the rest of the world. People compare themselves to each other, the type of rig they have, how many subscribers, the types of videos they put out. I think, for the most part, most of everyone I've met at the RTR and involved with the HOWA, they're all wonderful and accepting, most of them. I did meet a couple that came to my van, a few people that I could tell were very discriminatory about what they were seeing and learning. Instead of being very open and accepting, which most people were, there were a few that seemed to want to either proselytize about their religious beliefs or compare themselves to others or talk down about other people. And now some people like to do that because it makes them feel better about themselves. But does it really? So I'm a person who, and I'm comparing myself, I guess, but I would like to see a world where people were more accepting, less judgmental. That the HOWA thing, the RTR is supposed to be, zero judgment. They asked everybody to leave their personal political beliefs behind and have an open mind and be open and accepting. And for the most part, that's what I saw there. Except for at the car show, there were some people that came up to my van and had some. So let me preface this by, I studied psychology. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I find I'm not a professional. I'm not a licensed or anything. So this is my, semi-professional opinion and feelings about some of the ways that I've seen some people treat other people, and including me. And it's not just about me. I had one person try to start a conversation or a debate about politics and science, which I was very skillful in brushing off that conversation and that person. But I'm pretty sure that's the person that stuck so I was passing out stickers for my for my channel, my YouTube channel here, and it's Possum Fun and Frugal, in case you're interested. I don't push anybody. I'm an introvert. It's really hard for me to put myself out there and promote myself. It's been really difficult. I'm not a person that wants a bunch of attention all the time. I'd really rather keep to myself, but I kind of saw this YouTube thing as maybe an opportunity to help others, because most of my channel is sharing things that I think are helpful or cute, funny and cute with the animals, right? Everybody, it cheers people up, it brightens people's moods. I know when I watch the funny and cute videos, and even the van life stuff, it's inspiring, it's uplifting. That's my intention, my number one intention. now I'm hoping, now that I'm almost to 400 subscribers, I would like to get to a point where maybe I can make a little extra money. And I've said this on my channel before, that I'm starting to look at a decline in income in a couple years, and hoping I can supplement that with the channel. Sorry, I had to correct my dog for a second. She has allergies and gets real crazy chewing on herself sometimes. And let me show you. See the puppy? She's hiding under the blanket, and she's not happy with me because I made her stop chewing on herself. So I just wanted to talk about how I hope that people can learn to do better to support each other. Because what I'm finding is, when I step out of the RTR environment and I meet other people who are van lifers or live in their rigs, nomads of other types, there's the RVers and the trailers and the truck campers, and there's all sorts of different ways that people are making it work for them. There's campulances. And what I'm finding is, the ones that aren't connected with HOWA or the RTRs or any of those caravan groups seem to have a prejudice against those who are. I've brought up the RTR to, so I've met several of the YouTubers I follow, and most of them are very welcoming and open and nice, but some of them are to start out with. And there's one in particular, I'm not going to say who it is, but I feel like this person was very welcoming last year in the beginning, and seemed helpful, outgoing, concerned about me as a solo female camper, welcomed me in my minivan. But apparently what I'm learning is they have what they call a fleet, which is sort of a clique of people who have ambulances. And I realized that this person might have just been polite with me because I'm a subscriber, and wanted to show himself off with his channel and all that goes on in his channel. But this year I came back with the idea that maybe it would be much the same. I like the area that they're camped in because it's spread out more than the other areas, and I'm an introvert. I like my privacy. I like my own space. I don't need to be right up next to people. I've got these 2 little dogs. I don't want to deal with barking dogs and having to control my dogs, and worrying about when other people, close up camp and go to bed, and when I can go to, all that stuff. I just rather skip all that stuff. So I like to come out here and camp. So I'm happy about where I'm camped. And I'm okay with the people I'm camped around, but this year I got the feeling that I'm sort of not as welcome as I thought I was. And I think it's because I'm not in a campulance. I don't know personally the other folks that are in their converted ambulances. There's about 4 surrounding me. But there's a couple of them that I have met, and one is a very nice person, and she very welcoming and chatty, and she came over and talked to me, and that was very nice. Very interesting conversation. The other one, I had a concern. I had a person who's camped nearby in a truck camper with a little dune buggy thing, trailer and all that. Couple little brown dogs. The guy had anyway, this man walked very close to my van, came way over from his camp to mine, probably within 20 feet or so of my van. And I'm in open air. There's nobody else around me. And this person's camped way over, maybe 200 feet or more, almost a football field away. I don't measure that stuff very well. And there were bushes over where this person is camped, but this person came over to where I'm camped, to the bushes directly in front of my van door where it opens. And the person had these two little dogs, and the dogs were running around, and it's possible that the person was picking up the dog poop, but that's not what I think I saw. What I think I saw was this person, who was at this point probably 100 feet from where I was, trying to do some things in the side of my van, was standing there staring right at me. And then I watched what seemed to look like him doing something with his clothes and sort of squatting down. I don't know if he was doing a number 2 or if he was doing something to pleasure himself. I don't know. I had this, and here's why I had a bad feeling about it. When the person walked by, I attempted to be friendly and say, "Oh, hello." And he didn't say hello back, and he didn't wave. He put his head down and kept walking. He put his head down, and he's looking at me like this, and he's walking by, right? Then he goes in the bushes, just almost concealed enough, and he's wearing dark clothing and a big giant hat, and I got a feeling that I was being creeped. And so and I had been texting with this other camper that's in a campulance, a converted ambulance, nice person, YouTuber that I had admired and been following. And I reached out to him about it, thinking I would get support. I didn't get support. I got ridiculed. So I told him what I thought I observed. He texts back saying, "Oh, he knows who that is. He met that guy. He told me his name, and that he's probably okay, and maybe he was just picking up the dog poop." Right? Okay, he brushed me off that one. Well, I left camp that day, went out to the RTR, and I came back, and he's out and about, and I drove by him, and I stopped to talk to him for a minute, and he said, so that's so he points out the person, "That's the person you're worried about?" I said, "Yes." It just made me uncomfortable. So that's all I said. It just made me uncomfortable. I just had this odd feeling that he was doing something he didn't need to be doing over by my camp. He could be doing by his camp. And this person's response was, "Oh, and what were you doing? Watching him?" And I said, "Yeah. I was concerned for my safety, so yes, I was watching him until he left my camp." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm sure he was just picking up his dog poop. You're probably overreacting." So here I thought that this person, who I am aware has a daughter, would be supportive of a woman concerned about her safety. But apparently he's not. Apparently he doesn't understand that women, and some women like me, who are part of the Me Too movement, if you know what that is, and are solo camping. He knows I'm disabled. I'm a vulnerable person, and instead of being supportive, he ridiculed. I mean, wouldn't you say that's ridiculing? That's ridiculing. That's not okay. If even as a man camping by himself, if he had a concern about somebody, I would have been supportive and said, "Oh, I'm sorry that, that concerns you, and I hope you're okay, and I'm sorry that bothered you, and hopefully nothing else comes of it," or something, and let me know if you need anything, or I'll keep an eye out for you. I would have offered to keep an eye, which I do. I check and look to see how all the other campers are doing. If it seemed like any of my camp neighbors were having any issue, I would be there to support them. I wouldn't ridicule them or downplay how they feel about something. So that's how YouTubers lose subscribers, because I don't feel like I should subscribe to somebody who does not support women's safety and the safety of other people in general, and other campers and solo campers. If this person really has a big heart and really wants to be there to help other people, then that's an important part of that. So, I would understand if I was rude or unsupportive of people. They wouldn't want to be following my channel. They wouldn't want anything to do with me. And I noticed that since we had that little exchange, and this was a few days ago, this person hasn't spoken to me. They've ridden their bicycle past my camp several times now, and I've waved. They don't wave back. They go right by, and now they're going further out of their way and around my camp. So I thought I had a friend, and I don't have a friend. So if I don't have a friend, I'm not going to subscribe to someone who wouldn't be my friend. And it means I couldn't trust him to help me out. So that's just, so those of you, any of you who are solo female campers, if you feel like the people you're camping around are not being supportive of you, be careful. Just be really careful that who you're camping around. So I didn't leave because the woman that I feel comfortable with is closer to me than the other person I'm talking about, and closer than the person who's still here that made me uncomfortable. I know that I can get up and leave. Part of the problem is I'm disabled, which I mentioned that, and I take a lot of things out when I do BLM camping. My tables, my camp stove, and some of that stuff. And it's a lot of work for me to pack it back in order to move camp. I feel like I'm far enough away. I have decent cell phone service. I can always call 911 and because I feel really comfortable that I'm connected to a lot of the Hawa folks, other women campers, that I think I could make a couple calls and have some other campers over here real quick to support me. And I have other ways to protect myself if necessary. I am a very nonviolent person, and I hope that I never have to do any of those things, but I do have ways to protect myself. and I have 2 little dogs that are like alarm systems. so, so it's not like anybody could really get too close to the van without my little alarms going off. They were going off, and this person that made me uncomfortable just being, 50 feet away from me. So, and that seemed to, I think that was the deterrent. They made so much noise. I mean, nobody wants to cause a problem when there's so much noise going on, because other campers would notice. So that's a benefit. But I just wanted to bring it up that, just because someone is a YouTuber and on their channel they proclaim that they like to help people and they want to be there for people, and their channel is to, it's not always true. Sometimes these YouTubers are very selfish and their channel is about themselves. And you have to pay attention to that. Pay attention to what 80% of their channel is about. Because there's, like it's another 80-20 rule kind of thing. Like, I really admire the YouTubers who have a platform they use to help others on a regular basis. That 80% of their channel is helping others and 20% is about themselves. That's the kind of channel I want to have, and that's the kind of channels I want to follow and subscribe to. And everything else is just people trying to make money on the internet. That's really all it is. And sometimes they proclaim that they're helpful people because that they know that that's what people admire. But if they spend 80% of their time talking about themselves and their situation and, complaining and, needing money or whatever, then that's what their channel's about. And that gets old. And I could never have a channel like that. It's not how I am. Anyway, I just want to share this with you. If anybody else has had that experience, just to have that awareness that people are not what they say they are. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And it's just like anything else in the world. Any other, YouTube is not a unique place where everybody's these grand special people. They're regular people who, me too, I think sometimes my videos might come off as selfish, and I hope they don't. I hope people will comment and let me know that. I've already, vented this to my mother and my friends and family, or people that I know that are supportive of it. I've spoken to my therapist, all that. So I'm not on here telling you because I need to vent this to somebody. I really want this to be sort of an educational thing about being a solo female camper, or solo camper, period. A disabled man could be in the same situation. I don't care what walk of life you're from, what diversity you are. You could be vulnerable and taken advantage of or treated less than. And I think part of it is because I'm not in the campulance fleet that I'm thought of as less than. And I don't think that's okay. I actually admire, and there's another caveat about this, is that what I've learned about like this person that's the main focus of this conversation is that I think there's a difference between becoming a nomad with money, when you start with money. Okay, some people, so what they do is they leave a corporate job, they've made a lot of money, and they have enough money so before they quit their job, they go get the rig that they want, and they set it up the way they want to because they have the money to do it, and they have this whole custom thing done, and then they quit and go into nomad life. Well, they never really experienced struggling. So those of us who are poor, who may have to do it out of total necessity, which I'm learning how to do it out of necessity, and all I have is a minivan, and I don't have money to customize it, or even to get fancy cameras or equipment to start a channel. I think the people who start their channels and their nomad life with a bunch of money don't understand the people who have to start their channels from nothing. And they look down. There's two ways they could treat us lower people, is they could help us out, boost us up, or they can look down on us, that we're not acceptable because, we're not doing it the right way or something. I don't know. But that's the vibe that I get, is that there's really a couple types of nomads. Those with a whole lot of money for the right rig and the right equipment and the right, to set their life up. And those who have to start from scratch and build it up with little to nothing. So anyway, this is my little rant and ramble, and I hope somebody appreciates it. And it's a little bit long, so I understand if you don't stay through the whole thing or whatever. It's not your thing. That's cool. See, I'm not like, oh, you have to watch my channel. It's your choice. And I'm just hope somebody out here finds this helpful and comforting, that maybe they've been in the same or similar situations, or they feel the same way. They can relate. I hope it's helpful. So thank you for listening and sticking through. If you're still here listening, thank you so much. And I need to get going because I have an interview this afternoon with the Howa folks. So see you later.